The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Well, welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows on WVNN in Huntsville from 5 until 9 a.m. and on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham from 10 until noon. Mecca Musick will not be with us in studio today, but she will be the guest a little bit later on. So Yaffe's here with her filling in, here with me filling in for her. You can hear his show on WVNN in Huntsville as well from 9 until 11. We got a lot to get into. Like I told you, Mecca Musick will be filling in as the guest, and I've got a parting shot for you as well about a Second Amendment issue in Alabama that I don't think actually is, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Right now, though, let's get to the 2-minute warning. Yeah, I mean, this week a lot has happened, and I always come on here and jokingly say, "Is this where they get him?" Well, this is where they got him. Okay, so let's just be real about it. He was indicted, he was arraigned, he was arrested, and Donald Trump is now looking at an entirely new legal issue. Now, we'll have to wait till December before we get any closer on this thing getting done, but this is an issue for him. Is it the biggest issue for him? I don't think so. I still think the document situation in Washington, D.C. is probably going to be a bigger issue. The Georgia stuff about the elections and stuff, I don't think that's a big issue as well. Yaffe, is this where they got him?
No, I don't think it's where they got him. What really bothers me about this, though, you said, is it the biggest issue for Trump? No, right. But it's a really big issue for the country. It really sets a bad precedent, and I don't think that's sunk in for a lot of people. This changes everything in our justice system in the future, especially if he ends up being convicted.
Yeah, and I think that people always say that there's no chance he can be convicted. I disagree, and I think I said this last week. I think there's a good chance he could get convicted. You're in New York. It voted 82% for Biden. That's where your jury pool is going to be coming from. You get the right judge. You get the right jurors, and you could very easily see something like this. Now, there's other questions about throwing it out because of statute of limitations. Then there's appeals and all this other stuff. But look, the whole thing here is about being able to say twice impeached, once indicted, 34 felony charges. Yeah, he may have escaped, but that doesn't mean he's innocent, right?
When you look at this case, the case is incredibly weak, yet Bragg still did this. He still put it in place. The question is why? Did he know? Did he realize it was weak? I think so, but he wanted to twist himself into knots to figure out a way to put this forward, and that's a terrible precedent, like I said before.
Yeah, I just don't think there was a reason to be going down this path and doing this. There's all these other things going on. This helps him, I think, in the Republican primary, which I'm sure he loves. He didn't look too happy in court, though, but then they made $12 million off of fake mugshot T-shirts,
yeah.
Which I guess is good for them. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about two new policies that were suggested in the Alabama legislature that did not look like they were actually going to move forward. The first one is another increase on the whole texting and driving thing. We are still seeing handheld devices being used. Everyone's texting and driving. So they wanted to pursue that. What happened was in the Alabama legislature, it kind of started slow rolling because some concerns were made about how it was going to be enforced and who was going to feel the brunt of it. Would it be used to target minority citizens? And so that kind of put the brakes on it. As that conversation started getting made, people kind of went, whoa, I don't want to do that. And then there was another one, and I thought this one was interesting. Smoking and vaping in your vehicles while your children are in there would be against the law. Secondary violation, they couldn't pull you over for it, but if they pulled you over for something else, they could hit you for that as well. Yaffe. That's going to run into the same issue, right? Yeah. Because
no doubt.
Traffic stops. This is a very sensitive thing in our society. You could blow it up with that.
Can I bring up the fact that why is vaping included? How does that hurt the people around you? I don't really
You never smelled someone's vape, which is gross, because that's been inside their mouth. I mean, have you not?
I mean, not really. No, it's just water vapor mostly, isn't it?
It's the same thing. I think the concern is secondhand vape, essentially.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I'm just, again, this whole thing is about protecting these kids from their parents. And it's like a policy that seems to make decent sense. We know what the issue is with secondhand smoke and things like that. And then we're going to blow it up because we believe that there might be a racial component in the officers that might enforce it, which seems like a bit of a reach. And I guess you could address it and mention the concerns and stuff, but to spike bills over this kind of stuff, that seems a little silly to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, where does that end? We were talking about precedents earlier. What kind of precedent does this set, where you just spike every bill because, oh, it's racist?
The whole disproportionate impact on this or that, that takes you down a path that, like you said, where do you go with that next? Moving on, let's talk about school choice. This week, I was down in Montgomery, and I was at a YaleHammerNews.com event, and I spoke to the Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, the Senate Pro Tem, Greg Reed, and I asked them about school choice. And the way I framed it is the way you've heard me frame it on this show a bunch of times, where I talk about the idea that school choice, it's important, but the school choice Governor Kay Ivey spoke of is not the school choice I speak of. She's talking about charter schools and things like that. I'm talking about vouchers. Well, I brought that to their attention. I asked them, I said, is this something serious here? And the answer I received was essentially, look, we're serious about this issue, but there are places where vouchers aren't going to work. So we're probably not going to do vouchers. That's my takeaway from reading in between the lines. But they said school choice is an issue. It'll be an issue here, now, and in the future. They talked about the Republican GOP primary, where it'll be an issue there, probably be an issue in the general as well. The issue I have, Yaffe, is we have this happening in all the states around us. And I think they're going to effectively kill school choice by saying, well, what are the people in Demopolis going to do? Like, literally, so we can't do it everywhere else where it might help because there's not enough private schools in Demopolis. Is that legitimate? And what do these answers mean?
I don't think the answers mean as much when you talk about education savings accounts, though. Because an educational savings account, you could actually use that towards homeschooling. So there's an argument there that maybe some of those rural areas, maybe they want to homeschool, but they want more resources to do it. But it's really about a big picture thing. Look, I think it's going to happen at one time or another. We either lead on this now, be one of the leaders, or we become a follower years down the road when all the other Republican states have already done it. I mean, what do we want to be?
And you could design it as you want. And this, I always talk about this, things like abortion, where nobody wants to compromise. And eventually one side blunt forces the other side to do what they want, and then they're completely out of the game. And I think that this could be one of those situations, school choice. And I really wish, like you said, we would lead on this particular issue. All right, let's talk about Tennessee. Normally we don't do that a lot here on this program, but I saw something this week in Tennessee, and you have a lot of real problems there. And the leadership there in Tennessee is trying to expel some of the members, and they've done it. And this is the reality of where they stand. Now, I sit here and I watch that going on, and I wonder, is that going to spread? It's the same question I had when I saw a little bit of the chaos happening in Tennessee over transgender bills, the affirming surgeries and stuff like that. There were some gun issues as well. These battles were being fought in the state, and people showed up, and they tried to rush the floor. And there were members on the floor of the House who pulled out a megaphone and were rallying the crowd up in the bleacher section there, and it got him expelled from the session. My question is this, Yaffe. If the leadership kicks them out in Tennessee because of, some people call it an insurrection, I think that's a bit much, but I think the original January 6th as an insurrection was a bit much as well. But, especially here. But they came in and they said, okay, we want these people to rush the floor, we want to do all these things, and they ran them out. Are we going to see that tactic used in other states? I'm talking about the rushing the floor. Let's start right there. Are we going to see that tactic where getting rowdy in the state house? We saw it in Wisconsin many years ago and nobody cared. Then all of a sudden we cared about January 6th. Now we don't care again. Will we see more of this?
It depends. How does Tennessee react? If they really, put the hammer down on the people that did this, maybe we're not going to see it as much. But in some of those more liberal states where they allow this stuff to happen, it's similar to the riots we saw in 2020, the BLM riots. We didn't really enforce it, so more and more of it happens.
Wouldn't the bigger concern be in red states where, I think Alabama is the perfect state for something like this to happen? They have a supermajority in their legislature. Alabama has a supermajority Republican in their legislature. There's no way for Tennessee Democrats to get what they want. They will lose every battle if Republicans say, we're going to cloture you. That's the issue. Same thing in Alabama. Now, the idea is that you don't want to do that a lot because then it looks like you're just running people over. That's because that's exactly what you're doing. But this kind of resistance, where you're trying to rush the floor, you're screaming in the chamber and all this stuff, will we see more of that?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that in our politics generally, where we just want to shout each other down and not have a real debate. So this is just a natural extension of that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a shouter sometimes too, so I can understand where that goes. All right, coming up here in the next segment, Mecca will be with us, but she will join us on the phone as opposed to being here. So a little bit of a different change for us here on Alabama Politics this week, but stay tuned.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
When businesses think about where to build, they think of Alabama. But right now, there are more jobs than workers, and businesses are starting to notice. Nearly 170,000 Alabama drivers have lost their licenses because they missed payments on tickets. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get these folk back to work. Workers drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply for benefits and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits every month and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact and will share our insider expertise. There is a time limit to apply. We're here to help you get your disability claim filed and paid as soon as possible. Please, time is limited. So, if you are between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury, call right now and let us help you file your disability claim with the Social Security Administration.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. With me is Yaffe filling in for Mecca Musick, and Mecca Musick is joining us via the phone. We were all down at the Yellowhammer event in Montgomery this week. Mecca was involved in that as well. Lots of great conversation there, Mecca. I want to talk about incentives. I've been taking a lot of heat, both from my audience and from other pundits in the state, because I say, okay, incentives have worked for the state of Alabama. I don't see any problem with continuing to push for more incentives, unless you can show me that they've been net losers. But there's a big bill coming up. They want to spend a lot of money doing it. What is your take on the status of economic incentives for job recruitment right now in the state of Alabama and the bills in the legislature?
All right, well, I can provide you the first-hand report after we were talking to the pro tem and speaker. They both spoke about the incentives packages going through the legislature, and they're taking a very measured approach. They compared it to the ARPA funds, where they want everyone to have plenty of time to talk about this. Let's discuss this. You know, I want to hear from everyone, and I think that's a smart, wise, measured approach.
Yeah, but this idea that let's let everyone talk about it really means how much in agreement can we get before we do this? I mean, because this is happening. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. Why are they slowing it down so much?
I think it is they've proven to work and to help Alabama and continue to grow and economic development. I mean, I think they have been proven to work, but I think that, like you said, there are some people who might want to talk about it, might have issues and things like that. And I think this is just part of that listening. I really do think that the leadership is making a great effort to listen to legislators and their constituents and people, and they want to hear from them.
You know, one of the concerns I've heard is that this is kind of more corporate welfare. It's not really what we should be doing in a conservative Republican state. Have you heard a response from the leadership on criticism like that? What would you think about that?
Well, when we were talking, when they were addressing the legislative update this week, it was very just talking about the proven success. I mean, there's going to be naysayers on pretty much anything everywhere in politics, especially Alabama. I don't think that is the biggest concern. Maybe in the talk radio bubble, which I accuse you both of living in too much. But I think overall, a lot of people are behind these things.
I like how I'm living in a talk radio bubble, and I'm the one disagreeing with the people saying it. But okay.
Okay. Not you on this issue, Dale. I'll give you that.
I heard a pretty interesting argument about this, and it involved the NIL for the NCAA. If Alabama just said, okay, fine, we're not going to play by this game anymore, what happens? Well, the other states that continue recruiting using the NIL, the name, image, and likeness stuff in the NCAA, they benefit. Because Alabama stops doing it. And that's literally the argument against this. Surrounding us in southern states, we have Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi. I don't have a map in front of me, so I know it's not done in that order. But we still have those states, and they're doing this. And if we stop, then that next Volkswagen plant's going to Tennessee or Georgia and not coming to Alabama. So that's a decent argument.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a great way to talk about it in Alabama, comparative football. That's pretty brilliant, actually. And it's absolutely true. I mean, those states are our competitors. They're our neighbors, but yeah, they're also our competitors. And we need to be competitive.
Yeah, we need to win. I mean, that's basically it. Alabama tries to beat Auburn. Alabama tries to beat Tennessee. That's just how it works. That example came from Sam Gavan, by the way, a state senator. So I just want to give him credit for that. All right, let's talk about rebates versus tax cuts. This has seen I think a big swing to the point where it's almost completely over for the rebates. The checks are not coming from the governor unless she's going to write them out of her own checking account, because they're not coming from the legislature. It looks like grocery tax cuts, 100%. I don't know if I wasn't in the room when this conversation took place with the speaker and the leader. Tell me about it.
Okay, so this is very interesting, and it raises a lot of questions. Okay, so here's what Speaker Ledbetter said. I specifically asked, like, are these mutually exclusive? And I want to know what the chambers are leaning towards in your opinion. Like, what's your prediction? And Speaker Ledbetter said that they were not mutually exclusive. So is there going to be some sort of mixture of the two? And what would that look like? Would they, be less effective if you try to do both?
It's kind of weird because, like, if you do any less than 200 or 400, 400, 800 single couple, it's almost not worth doing. And if you do that and you cut that little check and you send it off as opposed to doing away with the complete food tax,
I just disagree with that, Dale. I mean, Yaffe, chime in here, but I mean, $200 is, I mean, that's still a healthy amount of change. I mean, that's a bill that could be paid.
Well, I mean, everyone likes to get a check, but I think
Right.
everyone would much rather have some kind of grocery tax cut. I honestly thought the rebate would be the compromise, because some don't want a permanent tax cut because they're worried about the revenue. Others just want to save for a rainy day. I thought they would say, okay, we'll do a rebate and that's it. But I'm seeing more and more momentum for the grocery tax cut. I find that pretty interesting.
Oh, well, this is the closest I think Alabama has ever been. I mean, how long have we been talking about this, guys? Years and years. I mean, the momentum behind actually finally eliminating this tax and not just talking about it is stronger than I think I've ever seen.
And you have Ivy wanting this rebate in the budget, so they put it in there. And then Ainsworth and the leader or Speaker Ledbetter and Greg Reed and all of them come out. And I'm not saying they're cutting their knees off, but they're cutting their knees off, right?
I'm really just, I think we're going to have to pay attention and see how it shakes out. It seems like, I mean, who knows what's going on, in the backgrounds, right, as we like to refer to, but it sounds like they really are looking at both. And maybe they, I'm not sure how it would look, but maybe they're trying to figure out how they can do both.
Is this because Democrats have been on board with the grocery tax cut as well? I mean, it was Minority Leader Daniels who really kind of pushed why this needs to happen on the Democrat side. Both Republicans and Democrats seem to want some kind of grocery tax cut. Does that give this a better chance of being successful?
Oh, 100%. And again, all credit to Daniels for really pushing this. I mean, he has never stopped, honestly. And I don't think it's that the Republicans disagreed with it. I think it was just waiting for the timing. And this looks like it could be it.
Yeah, I agree completely. It was all about finding a way to replace that revenue. Now they don't feel like they have to do that, so now it can be done without raising a tax elsewhere. That's what's happened here, and this is their opportunity. I think they're going to take it. Mecca Musick, she is normally the host of this program, but she didn't want to come up for some reason, so we had to put Yaffe in here.
I got so much of you and Yaffe today, or this week. I feel very.
She never talks when I'm trying to close when she's here, but for some reason I'm trying to close, and here she is. All right, Mecca, go away. Hey, Mecca's leaving the show. We'll get better, and so's Yaffe. Party Shot coming up next here on Alabama Politics This Week. Hey, folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now, look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and 0 deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
Nearly 170,000 Alabama drivers have their licenses suspended because they missed payments on traffic tickets. These are moms who can't get their kids from school and dads who can't get to work. Folks just trying to care for their families. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get these folks back on the road. Workers drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. We'll get to the party shot here in a second, where we talk about parental responsibility, responsible gun owners, the Second Amendment, and anti-Second Amendment legislation. We'll get to all of that in just a second. But first, let me remind you, yellowhammernews.com. You sign up right there. You get my email blast every single day. You get the 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email inbox. It's very short. All you got to do is see it. Boom. Those are the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Go sign up today. yellowhammernews.com. There's videos there. My Yellowhammer Now videos. Yaf even writes a column like once a week, even though he's supposed to do it way more. yellowhammernews.com. Go check that out today. As for right now, let's go ahead and get to that party shot. My party shot this week is directed at gun owners in the state of Alabama who are saying that a bill offered by Representative Barbara Drummond, a Democrat out of Mobile, is somehow an anti-Second Amendment bill. Let me tell you what this bill does, okay? And this is all it does. It says that if you have firearms at home and your little kid takes one of those firearms and goes to school and gets caught with it, you're going to be held responsible. You are going to be held responsible for not properly securing your firearm. Now, there are 1,000 different ways you can secure your firearm. If you have a little kid, you should be securing said firearm. I have a biometric lock that I use on mine. I am the only person that can access that. My wife has a biometric lock on hers. She is the only person that can access it. We have not got Grant, my son, a biometric lock for his gun because he is 4. But what's happening is, and this is, go Google it, it's happened across the state. Kids are taking their parents' guns to school. They're firing them in classrooms and bathrooms and leaving them places. It's dangerous. Now, a lot of people have a problem with Barbara Drummond's bill because it says if this happens, you're responsible. And they say that a felony, a Class C felony, well, that's life-changing. That's terrible. We can't really do that kind of stuff. Well, if that kid goes into a classroom and fires off a round and kills a classmate or themselves, that's life-changing. All that's being suggested here by guys like me is that you be a responsible gun owner. I get the Second Amendment stuff. I'm 100% on board. I've been in conservative talk shows in Alabama going on 17 years. I understand the Second Amendment and how precious people hold it. But if you have a young child, these are things you should be doing anyway. You should be making sure that your kid does not get their hands on a gun. And when you start putting other people's kids at risk, that's not an attack on the Second Amendment to say you're being a bad gun owner. Responsible gun ownership is the only way the Second Amendment stops coming under attack. That's just the way it is. You can not like that all you want, but this is not an attack on the Second Amendment. This is actually a pretty good bill, and I like that Representative Barbara Drummond offered it up, and I fully support it, and hopefully she's able to get it through the legislature. I talked to her. She doesn't sound like she thinks she can, but I still think it's a good bill. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching Alabama Politics This Week. We will be back next week. Hopefully, Mecca will be able to come to work.